The GPU-CPU combo is the most important part on a gaming PC. You need a GPU that's capable of playing the games that you want and a CPU that will not bottleneck it. For that reason, I will show you the best GPU-CPU combos for 1440p in 2023. We will go from $300 all the way up to $1,000, so it doesn't matter what your budget is, you will get a good GPU-CPU combo depending on your needs. You will have the links to all of these combos down below in the video description, and if you're new to gaming PCs, don't worry, I will try to explain everything as simple as possible and the estimated performance for you to see how these combos are going to perform. Now, let's start. With the first one, we have the cheapest one on the list for $280. We have the i3-12100F and the RX 6600. Now, the RX 6600 is not the best GPU for 1440p, it's more of a 1080p GPU, but if you're going to play easy to run titles, are more than playable on high FPS at 1440p. I'm talking about 144 plus FPS, so you can potentially get a high refresh rate monitor for 1440p if you're gonna play this type of games. Now for other type of games like GTA 5, you can actually expect 60 plus FPS on average depending on the settings. For that reason, I think that it's a great combo to start with and it's the cheapest one on this list. By the way, I'm not going over the used market, all of these combos are brand new, and if you want something from the used market, let me know in the comment section and I will try to help you out. With the next one, we have a $350 combo, so around $50 to $70 more expensive than the last one, and we have the Ryzen 5 5600 for the CPU and the RX 6650 for the GPU, which is going on an insane deal. Right now is $210, the cheapest I've ever seen this GPU, and honestly at this price you're getting great performance. Once again, the 6650 XT is not the best at 1440p, it's more of a 1080p high FPS GPU, and you get 8 gigs of VRAM, which might be a limitation for the newest AAA titles, but for the most part 8 gigs of VRAM is going to be fine, and the overall estimated performance is around 20% faster than the RX 6600, so you will be getting a better performance at 1440p. But once again, I wouldn't buy this GPU-CPU combo if you want to play games like Flight Simulator on ultra settings. With the next one, we have, in my opinion, a solid CPU-GPU combo, and if you have around $500 to spend on the CPU and GPU, this is by far the best choice. You get the same AMD Ryzen 5 5600, but you get the RX 6700 XT. In my opinion, this is the best price to performance GPU on the market for 1440p, since you get 12 gigs of VRAM, which is nice to have, since you're gonna be able to run the latest AAA titles on ultra settings without the VRAM limitation. If you don't know what this means, basically in a game like Hogwarts Legacy, ultra settings, textures are going to load just fine. But if you have 8 gigs of VRAM and you try to play Hogwarts Legacy on ultra settings and you pass the limit of 8 gigs of VRAM, the FPS might be the same, but the game will look horrible. That's the main difference. So the 6700 XT also 12% faster than the RX 6650 XT, so you're getting more performance and more VRAM. However, this is a mid-range GPU, so it's not going to be once again the best at 1440p, but it's going to be solid for most people, even if you want to play games that are more on the high demanding side. With the next one, we have a high-end combo in the Ryzen 7 5700X and the RX 6800 XT. This is a $670 combo, but it's gonna get you really high FPS at 1440p. You can run every single game, even on ultra settings, 60 plus FPS on average, and even on the high demanding titles. This one has more VRAM with 16 gigs of VRAM, which is going to be enough not only for 1440p but also for 4K gaming. So if you want to upgrade to 4K down the line for a 4K 60 plus FPS on average experience, this is going to be more than possible. Also, the CPU has 8 cores, so 2 extra cores than the Ryzen 5 5600, and it's gonna be better for the RX 6800 XT. Now, if you have $1,000 on your budget for the whole system, I do recommend you going with the Ryzen 5 5600 and the RX 6800 XT because you want to prioritize your GPU, not your CPU. But if you can afford it, the Ryzen 7 5700X is going to be a better choice for this GPU. And by the way, at the end of the video, I will compare the last 3 GPUs at 1440p on a 13 game average for you to see the estimated performance. With the next one, we have an $800 CPU GPU combo. This is an ultra combo. You get the latest Ryzen 5 7600, which is a great budget CPU on the AM5 platform, and because you get a new platform, you will be able to upgrade the CPU without having to upgrade the motherboard down the line, which is always a plus. So here we have an upgradable combo, and you get the RX 6950 XT for the GPU, which is, in my opinion, the second best 1440p GPU out there / 4K, because you can actually play at 4K with no issues. No matter the game you want to play, the RX 6950 XT is gonna be able to run that game on ultra settings at 1440p. If you didn't know, this is AMD's last generation best GPU, and it was compared to the RTX 3090. And last but definitely not least, we have the most expensive one, but the best combo for 1440p. We have a $930 CPU GPU combo in the Ryzen 5 7600 once again, but you get the RX 7900 XT, which is one of the latest AMD GPUs. You get 20 gigs of VRAM, which is more than enough even at 4K. And if you have the money to buy it, definitely go for it. This GPU is gonna be able to run everything at 1440p and everything at 4K. For you to see the estimated performance on a 16 game average on high to ultra settings, the RX 7900 XT has an average of 158 FPS, the RX 6950 XT has an average of 145 FPS, which is the same as the RTX 3090 Ti, which is Nvidia's last gen best GPU, and the RX 6800 XT has an average of 125, which is still a high-end gaming experience at 1440p. And the average at 4K on these same 16 games, the 7900 XT has an average of 94 FPS, the 6950 XT an average of 84 FPS, and the 6800 XT an average of 70 FPS. So no matter which one you get out of the last 3 GPU-CPU combos that I've mentioned, you're gonna be getting a great performance at 1440p and even at 4K. I mean, it's insane that for around $800 you can get the same performance that you could have gotten 2 to 3 years ago for around $2,000 with the RTX 3090 Ti. Now, the reason why I didn't mention any Nvidia GPUs here is because honestly for gaming they are not the best in terms of price to performance. They have been doing a terrible job for gamers, but if you want the same performance as these GPUs, you're gonna be spending more money, and usually they come with less VRAM, which is gonna be important in the future. However, if you want an Nvidia GPU, you will have the alternatives in the video description, but just so you know, it's gonna be more expensive. I highly recommend you going with Nvidia if you're a content creator, but if you're gonna do just gaming, AMD in my opinion is the best in terms of price to performance. Also, when you're watching this video, prices might be different. For example, the RX 7900 XT is in a huge deal for $720. And it used to be $900, so that's how insane that deal is. And if you're looking for a PC build, I recommend you buying everything as soon as possible, because deals are not going to last forever. You need more components than the CPU-GPU combo. You need a bunch of stuff, not only the CPU-GPU combo, even though this is the most important part for your performance. For that reason, I recommend you watching my video about the best PC builds of the month, where I go over all of the components for different budgets and resolutions. You will have that video in the top right of the screen. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I will try to reply as fast as possible. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.